Well, but I've been shut out. You know, some platforms will not have me on.
Why?
They don't like that I'm, you know, an independent thinker. I'm not part of the herd. I'm not part of the go along to get along gang.
So, I have been posting my thoughts and my stance on this, but I haven't spoken directly because I don't know what to say.
Ellen DeGeneres is being blasted on social media after she spoke out in support of Diddy, and Ice Cube is exposing how Ellen, Oprah, and Diddy were working together to reshape the narrative.
You know what it is? It's your homeboy Ice Cube. And some of you may not have realized that I'm not part of the club. And a lot of you listening to me right here, right now, you're not part of the club either. And what I realized with the club is what makes them so mad is when you don't want to be a part of the club.
Ice Cube is one of the few people in the entertainment industry who isn't afraid to speak out, and he's been blackballed as a result. Ice saw firsthand how people in the industry were being controlled by greed and gatekeepers who wanted Diddy to get away with his crimes. Ice Cube saw it coming a mile away. He knew that it was only a matter of time before Ellen started lying again, and he knew that if he spoke out, it would have consequences.
I'm talking about the club of gatekeepers that we all got to deal with. You know who they are, and they definitely know who they are. A lot of people would be like, what, who? Come on, man, stop playing. So, ever since I put out the contract with Black America, you know they've been here and there, this and that. But it's cool, you know. I expect that.
Ellen and Diddy go way back. Ellen invited Diddy on her show multiple times, and in her own words, she knew what Diddy was doing at his after parties. This isn't a random joke. Ellen knows exactly what she's talking about. We just didn't realize it at the time. Interestingly, Diddy even asked her if he could hold a party at her house once. Now that Diddy is behind bars, Ellen has decided to move to England. Is that really a coincidence, or is she trying? These were an open secret. Every major celebrity in the industry knew about them, and Ellen was a regular. Diddy obviously trusted her enough to ask her to host one of his freak-offs. And as soon as Diddy gets investigated, Ellen just randomly decides she's going to move to England. Give me a break. It couldn't be more obvious that Ellen is trying to run away.
They're losing their minds.
She sounded so sincere, didn't she?
Very
she could
sincere.
Virtually choke on her words. But the best one for me is Ellen DeGeneres, who is, by the way, a very nasty person. I've had dealings with her in Australia.
Oh, bit of
Could I tell you some stories about that cow? But anyway, good riddance to her. But she was quite friendly with that P. Diddy bloke, wasn't she?
Well, this is why I say release the Diddy files.
Yeah.
Release the Diddy files. Come on, Donald Trump. We want to know whose name.
So maybe she's hightailing out of there before all that is thrown at her as well. But what a bunch of hypocrites.
It's almost as if Ellen was scared of Diddy snitching on her, and she wanted to get away. During the start of the trial, Ellen was at Diddy's parties, and these parties involved some of the most powerful people in the world. Ellen knew that if Diddy's tapes ever came out, she would be behind bars too.
Ellen DeGeneres and her wife, Portia de Rossi, have reportedly fled the US, bound for the UK, after Donald Trump's landslide victory. Numerous publications are reporting the couple have left the United States permanently. There are also reports the couple have put their Montecito mansion on the market. Entertainment publication The Wrap has the exclusive story and said, Ellen DeGeneres and wife Portia de Rossi have moved to rural England, put their Montecito estate on the market, and plan to never return to the United States, telling friends the election of Donald Trump was their primary motivation. Ellen DeGeneres has been a vocal Trump critic, so the move doesn't come as a surprise to most.
You're really bad. If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be? Does one of us have to come out alive?
Ellen Degeneres has been seen rocking a new hair color since moving to the UK. The comedian changed her signature blonde look to brunette as she was seen enjoying a night out with friends at a pub called The Farmer's Dog. Ellen went out with her wife, Portia de Rossi, and a few friends, including the Torn singer Natalie Imbruglia. Sources told TMZ earlier this week that Ellen and Portia moved to England because of Donald Trump's re-election. They have reportedly settled into their new home in the southwest region of England, but they purchased the property before the election.
The secrets that Ellen is hiding are much darker than just being a freak at some parties. Reports of sexual assault on the set of Ellen's show started to come out. These reports detailed how Ellen's nice guy act wasn't true in the slightest, and behind the scenes, Ellen was both a and This is the same thing we saw with Diddy. On the surface, he was fun and nice, but when no one was looking, he was the worst person you could be around. This was who behind Diddy and Ellen. This is where the story takes an even darker turn. Steven Twitch Boss was an executive producer of The Ellen Show and stayed on with Ellen for almost 8 years until the show ended in 2022. On December 13th, 2022, Steven ended his life. No one knew why Twitch had taken such a drastic step until a note was recovered, where he was allegedly blaming Ellen.
We're learning more tonight about the tragic suicide of Steven Twitch Boss and the detailed steps he took to hide his plans. TMZ is reporting when Twitch left his home the day before his suicide, he took an Uber to a motel about a mile away. At the motel, he switched his phone to airplane mode so no one could reach him. The motel manager says he checked in under his own name and never left his room. We also now know that Twitch left his note. Details have not been made public, but TMZ reports the note alluded to challenges Twitch had faced in the past. Entertainer Tyler Perry knows firsthand what that is like.
I want to take you back to a time in my life where I tried to commit suicide a couple of times because it was so dark. I thought the only way to make this better, this pain go away, is to end my life. Had any of those attempts happened, I would have missed the best part of my life.
Hey, everybody. Everyone is in pain and trying to make sense of it, and we'll never make sense of it. And the holidays are hard, I think, anyway. But to honor Twitch, I think the best thing that we can do is to laugh and hug each other, and play games and dance and sing.
The comedian hired Twitch for her talk show back in 2014.
Over a decade ago, I met someone who changed my life and our show. And I'm talking about you, Twitch. Come here.
He was the in-house DJ until the series wrapped earlier this year.
And I know it seems hard, it seems impossible, but that's how we honor him and hug each other and tell each other we love each other and let people know we're there for them and check in on people.
Allegedly, Ellen had taken Twitch to one of Diddy's parties after introducing him during one of the episodes, and Twitch became caught up in something he just wasn't ready for. A note discovered in Twitch's house explained everything. Twitch told his wife, Allison, that he had been pressured into silence and that people close to him, even Ellen, were not who they claimed to be. People online are now connecting the dots. Ellen's name has come up in the same conversations as Diddy's, both surrounded by people who died under mysterious or tragic. Like, this is the kind of stuff Ellen was doing with minors. And it's not just Ellen who was involved in covering up Diddy's crimes and reshaping the narrative. Some of the biggest names in Hollywood, including Oprah, were right there with them. If you tried to speak out against the or tried to expose any of these gatekeepers, your career would end. You would stop getting invited, and your name would be permanently blackballed.
Well, but I've been shut out. You know, some platforms will not have me on.
Why?
They don't like that I'm, an independent thinker. I'm not part of the herd. I'm not part of the go along to get along gang, so to speak. So, I'm an outsider. And so, I'm not part of the club. But I've been excluded. I've been excluded on Oprah, you know.
On Oprah?
On Oprah, yeah, I've been excluded. Yeah, man.
I would think you'd be the person Oprah would want to promote. I mean, you grew up in South Central, you were successful at a young age, you have dignity, you say what you think. Like, I thought that was the goal.
Almost 40 years rocking the mic. You still killing the guy. And I'm gonna tell you right now, me and Dub C ain't never been to a Diddy party, mother. Thank God. You ain't gotta worry about on them mother tapes.
Ice Cube talked about this in detail. He mentioned that the second he actually started to speak out against these elites, his so-called friends just left him, and the same people who were previously dying to have him on started avoiding him. It felt like a coordinated effort to stop anyone from speaking out.
What platforms have banned you?
I've been, you know, I tried to go on The View. They didn't have me on The View.
Why?
Well, a few of the guests just really didn't like where I was coming from. So, or a few of the hosts, I mean. So that's what I was told by the producers. You know, I don't know if the producers was just copping out and using some of the hosts to not have me come on and explain myself, but...
You'd be a good booking for them.
I've been on there before.
Yeah.
You know, it's just when I've became an independent thinker, when I've, you know, I'm not, you know, I don't follow their brand of politics, I guess.
But if you can't think for yourself, then you're not really free, are you?
No, you're not.
It's like Diddy said in his speech, these elites control everything.
They work for us. We have the power. We decide what's hot. If we don't go, nobody goes. If we don't support, nobody supports. We control what's cool. We control what's hot. We control what your kids listen to, what they dance to. We control what's in video games. We control how they wear their pants, sag their pants. We control everything.
Ice Cube just had to learn this the hard way. He figured out that the messages these elites were pushing out were meant to destroy Black people, not empower them. Diddy, Oprah, Jay-Z, and even Ellen, they all built their brand on being people who wanted to empower the youth. But in reality, they were just manipulating kids.
Same people who own the labels own the prisons.
Literally the same people?
Literally the same people who own the labels own private prisons. The records that come out are really geared to push people towards that prison industry.
But they didn't make you write those lyrics.
It's not about making somebody write the lyrics. It's about being there as guardrails to make sure certain songs make it through and certain songs don't. Some records are made by committee, meaning record company guys sit around and tell the artists, this is hot, say that, do this. We're gonna have this guy write the lyrics. We're gonna have that. You have, you know, the record company pushing the narrative. You know, some social engineering going on here.
These elites were also behind Diddy's arrest. One day, Diddy is on top of the world, worth over $1 billion, and the next, he's behind bars with over 100 pending cases. That doesn't just happen. That's what a coordinated effort to bring someone down looks like. Diddy did something to upset the elites, and they came after him. Stuff like this happens in hip-hop on a regular basis, and according to ICE, it doesn't take a genius to connect the dots.
Diddy, you're hearing Diddy everywhere, okay?
Yeah.
So, did you ever have any kind of run-in with Diddy? Did you ever do anything with Diddy? Any projects you worked on with him?
He produced a few records, or had his producers do a few records on my War and Peace album, the Peace Disc. Yeah.
How was he to work with?
It was cool. You know, he, you know, gave us great music. We flew out to New York. And I was mainly in the studio with the producer. You know, he had a stable of producers, so I was in the studio with his stable of producers, and I think we did some great music. And you know, I really, kind of, you know, lost contact with him and really stopped, you know, dealing with Puffy around 94. Yeah.
Any specific reason?
Yeah, I mean, you know, they was doing their thing, I was doing mine. And, you know, I'm not the partying type. You know what I mean? I ain't never been to a Diddy party. I ain't never really wanted to go. But I don't go to a lot of people parties. You know, that just ain't what I'm in it for. You know, you've been to one, you've been to them all.
Are you surprised at what things are coming out with Diddy at all, or you like you have no idea? It's none of my business. You'll live longer. Is that kind of like the mindset?
I mean, surprised. How could you be surprised with anything that happens in hip hop? You know, hip hop is the Wild West. So you're gonna have the good, you're gonna have the bad, you're gonna have the ugly.
You think he's being targeted, or some of the stuff he's got, you know, there's credibility on what they're coming after him with the tapes and the feds and raiding his Miami home, his LA home?
I believe he's being targeted.
You believe he's being targeted?
Yeah. I believe, you know, somebody, you know, has the power to pull the trigger to make, you know, this stuff, this domino effect happen.
Diddy is now trying to use the same playbook to try and secure his release. His sons are working with one of his old friends to release a documentary that focuses on his side of the story. 50 Cent exposed every facet of Diddy's life, and Diddy knows that the only way he can have a career now when he gets out is if he can reshape the narrative in his favor.
Well, so we're going to be talking about a new docuseries here. First, there was Sean Combs' The Reckoning by 50 Cent, and that was on Netflix. Of course, it was one of the highest-rated docuseries in Netflix history, right? Very intense, about his rival hip-hop stars' fall from grace. And now the two sons of Sean Diddy Combs now coming out with their very own docuseries telling the story from their point of view.
Procession of his children arriving in court for day one of their father's trafficking trial in New York, hands gripped in solidarity.
Do you still believe your dad's innocent?
So this just dropped Sunday night on the video-on-demand service known as the Zeus Network, releasing the trailer for this project. Now, the series appears to shine the spotlight on Justin and Christian Combs as they follow the events surrounding their father's arrest back in 2024 and his subsequent federal trial this past summer. Now, that trial ended with a split verdict for Combs, with getting a 50-month prison sentence for prostitution-related charges after being acquitted on the most serious charges. Now, this new docuseries is slated to air sometime this year.
People feel like this whole new documentary is just a PR narrative, once again being pushed by Diddy and his sons to try to clean up his image. And after hearing certain things on 50 Cent's Netflix documentary, we have to go back in time and remember what we were seeing during trial. Even when it came to Diddy's sons, Christian and Justin Combs, they both came on two separate occasions to trial wearing a free Sean Combs shirt. The first one to do this was Christian Combs during Jane's testimony, and you're not supposed to wear this stuff in front of a jury to try to sway their opinions. And the judge actually told him he had to leave and take it off. And then literally like a week later, Justin did the same exact thing. It was taken out of the courtroom by the judge. And we already saw the videos in the Netflix doc of Diddy talking to Justin, saying he needed to push out certain content to control a narrative. During the trial, there were a lot of things going on that I could see that to me felt like it was just straight PR. Do you remember all of these people that were wearing the free Diddy shirts? And it was actually a meme coin that's on their shirt. It's money sign Diddy. And that meme coin was also made by Diddy's sons while this trial was happening.
Now, you might be wondering why anyone is even willing to work with Diddy on this propaganda piece. Why did the owner of Zeus Network agree to side with Puffy? This is where Diddy's old habits start to come back. Allegedly, Diddy is blackmailing the owner and has him on the tapes.
Oh, I'm telling 50 Cent. Now, you know they say Diddy's of a feather flock together. And if you haven't heard by now, Diddy's sons have a new documentary supposed to come out on Zeus Network. But that's the shady part. Zeus is shady. I'm going to tell you how and how this may backfire on everybody. And somebody else, Diddy Jr., who they calling the Timu Diddy, could be getting in trouble too. This is crazy. Ain't nobody else talking about it, but I will. Roll the clip. So the producer of Zeus putting out this piece that's supposed to make us all feel sorry for Diddy and his sons is Lemuel Plummer. Lemuel Plummer is what they call the Timu Diddy, or Diddy Jr. Now, word around the streets is Not only is Diddy a silent partner in Zeus, put up money, but they believe that Lemuel Plummer, aka Lemmy, was giving girls to Diddy and supplying girls through his network for the freak-offs and all type of parties. And if you ask me from the clips I seen, I would not be surprised if Diddy and Lemmy been diddling around. And check this, people have already been saying that Lemuel was Diddy Jr. and was gonna be caught up in his own allegation soon, way before this documentary even was talked about. Now I'm gonna show you a clip at the end of this video and you tell me how close Diddy and Lemmy look. But also, know that, now this is Lemmy's IG. If you wanna go over there and tell him what you think about the documentary, go on over there and share this post to tell everybody what's really going on. And if I know 50 Cent, he is probably gonna wait for them to drop this little piece, and that is when he gonna drop part 2 and step on their whole thing.
Diddy is desperate to clean up his image because he's working on his appeal right now.
Well, there's a new appeal from hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs. His defense team is seeking his immediate release from federal prison, calling his 50-month sentence on charges of transportation for prostitution excessive. CB Cotton has the details live from our New York newsroom. Good to see you, CB.
Hey, Lydia. Well, once one of the most powerful names in hip-hop, Sean Diddy Combs is now behind bars at that federal facility in Fort Dix, New Jersey, but his legal team says he should have never been sent there for this long. So on Tuesday, in an 84-page filing, Combs' attorneys asked a New York federal appeals court to immediately release Combs and send the case back for a new sentencing or grant him an acquittal. In July, a jury found Combs guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution and acquitted him of the most serious charges, racketeering conspiracy and trafficking. In the fall, the judge then sentenced Combs to a little more than 4 years behind bars, citing testimony from former girlfriends who said they felt pressured to participate in fueled parties with male escorts called hotel nights or freak-offs. But the rapper's lawyers argue this sentence was punishment for crimes that the jury rejected. They wrote in the filing, quote, "He sits in prison today serving a 50-month sentence because the district judge acted as a 13th juror. The judge defied the jury's verdict and found Combs, quote, coerced, exploited, and forced his girlfriends to have sex and led a criminal conspiracy," end quote.
Just releasing a documentary no one's going to watch isn't enough. Diddy is also trying to get 50 Cent's documentary taken down. His lawyers actually filed a cease and desist and are now threatening to sue both 50 Cent and Netflix for over $1 billion. Too bad for them. 50 Cent got all his footage legally.
Overnight, lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs trying to stop the release of a Netflix docuseries due out today.
We have to find somebody that'll work with us that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business.
The series contains never-before-seen footage of Combs debating strategy with his lawyers in the days leading up to his arrest in New York last year.
I am going to let you professionals look at the situation and come back to me with a solution.
It also includes video of Combs greeting fans in Harlem.
I'll accept it.
And then saying this about the interaction moments later.
I need some hand sanitizer. Hold on. I got it. I've been out in the streets amongst the people. Yeah, I gotta take a bath. Like the amount of people that actually I'm coming in contact with, like that's what I have to do. You know what I'm saying? Oh. It's like 150 hugs.
Now Combs' lawyers are demanding Netflix pull the series, threatening legal action, claiming Netflix is using stolen footage that was never authorized for release as part of what they call a shameful hit piece. The series is executive produced by Combs' longtime rival, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, and director Alex Stapleton, who said, quote, "We obtained the footage legally and have the necessary rights," end quote. Before the cease and desist demand was sent yesterday, Stapleton and Jackson sat down with our Robin Roberts to discuss the series.
How do you respond to people who say that it's more about the disdain that you have for Sean Combs than it is for giving the victims a platform?
It's not personal.
The show is not completely the perspectives of people that did not like Sean. Not everyone needed to have an allegation to be a part of this.
Combs is serving 4 years in prison on prostitution-related charges.
What's clear is that speaking out comes at a cost, and those who try to reshape the story face resistance at every turn. Diddy's battles, the documentaries, and the public fallout show just how complicated and controlled the entertainment world can be. Stay informed, stay curious, and remember, the story isn't always what you see on the surface.